Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya, your boss, to whom you provide political advice, emerged from the 2020 elections, and particularly the protests, the mass street protests that happened after that. Now, she presents herself as the leader of the Belarusian opposition. Is she?
I think she's a national leader of Belarusian president-elect who won elections but didn't take her office because of Lukashenko and Putin.
Is she the leader of the Belarusian opposition?
I think she's the leader of Belarus nation because Lukashenko is in opposition. She got more than 70% of votes. I should call her the president.
So she does not lead a united Belarusian opposition?
She's leading the United Democratic Forces. Exactly. She united all the major groups, traditional political parties and the new groups that appeared in 2020. And of course, there are different ideologies, different views among different politicians. But she's absolutely unifying figure to all of those who see Belarus free and democratic.
Let's see how unifying that is, because an opinion poll by Telegram-based pollster Narodny Opros among opposition-minded Belarusians found that the Kalinovsky regiment of Belarusian volunteers fighting in Ukraine was 5 times more popular among Belarusians than Mrs. Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya. Clearly, she's not a leader of a united opposition, is she?
This is the pollster just among activists of this specific group, and Kalinovsky regiment is just the group of military volunteers fighting in Ukraine. So let's not compare, political leadership and fighters. And let's not forget that Sviatlana Tsikhanouskaya participated in elections. She won elections. Multiple observers, surveys, polls, internet voting proved that she won elections. She received 2 or 3 million votes.
So the Kalinovsky regiment is irrelevant as an opposition group?
Kalinovsky regiment is the part of the democratic and independence movement. They are fighters in Ukraine. They are fighting for liberation of Ukraine, and they deserve a huge respect, and we fully support everything they do.
Would you say they are popular?
They're not popular as politicians. They are popular as soldiers because they sacrifice their life in order to save Ukraine. They understand that when Ukraine wins, Belarus wins as well.
So they are not seen as a part of the opposition then?
Now they are fighters. Let's divide politicians and fighters and military volunteers who serve in Ukrainian army. Of course, they are playing a very important role. And first of all, they preserve the good name of Belarusians who were seen by many Ukrainians as aggressors. And Kalinovsky regiment, they prove that not all Belarusians are like Lukashenko, that Belarus regime and people are two different things.
Right. Let's talk about Mrs. Tsikhanouskaya. You keep saying in this interview that she's the national leader of Belarus, and she herself keeps calling herself the national leader of Belarus. But who, except for Lithuania, agrees to call her that?
Almost in every country she comes, she is met on the presidential level. In the parliament, she is always addressed as Madam President. Today, just in 1 hour,
but there is no official recognition of her as the leader of Belarus.
There is de facto recognition. There is the level of protocol which defines her as the head of state. There is no legal recognition because it will take years, and we don't have these years. We didn't go into this game of legal recognition.
But it's more than just a game, isn't it? Because Alexander Lukashenko's regime continues to have diplomatic relations with a lot of countries, particularly those in Asia and Africa, for instance. There, Alexander Lukashenko counts as leader of Belarus and not Mrs. Tsikhanouskaya.
That's true. And this is the problem for us, because these nations then they come to the United Nations General Assembly and they vote very often in support of proposals of Lukashenko or Russia. Yes, that's true. This is why we are trying to reach out the countries outside of the European Union. We already reached out Latin America, and we have some relations there. We reached out to Africa, Southeast Asia as well, but a lot of work to be done. But the most important in terms of economy, in terms of trade and political relationship, of course, is the European Union, where Lukashenko is not recognized as the leader. And now we are calling on recognizing him as the war criminal.
Now, Ms. Tsikhanouskaya has also sought to find a common cause with Ukrainians. We began this interview talking about the Ukraine war. Let's talk about the Ukraine war. She has said, and I quote, "There cannot be a free Belarus without a free Ukraine." Does Ukraine see it in the same way as well?
Yes, I think Ukraine sees, but a little bit different. They see Belarus as the guarantee of security, of safety, because when Lukashenko stays in power, there will be constant threat to Ukraine, like it happened in February this year. Lukashenko promised that there will not be attack from Belarus territory, and suddenly this attack happened, and Russian tanks almost reached Kiev from Belarus. Ukraine understands the importance of having good relationship with Belarusian people. We have 1,000 kilometers common border. And right now we are trying to build this relationship again. We are trying to coordinate our activities and to work to coordinate our activities on resisting Russian occupying forces. Situations in Belarus and Ukraine are different, but we fight the same enemy.
One final question. Mrs. Tsikhanouskaya hasn't yet been able to meet President Zelensky. When is that going to happen?
Yes, she didn't meet officially, only informally at one of the public events. It will happen when there will be willingness of Ukrainian side. But she has very good relationship with Verkhovnaya Rada, Ukrainian parliament. We have good relationship with Ministry of Foreign Affairs. But we understand why Ukrainians don't meet her. They don't want to provoke Lukashenko.
Is it also because they do not trust her?
No, I think because there was a clear sign of Lukashenko. If Kiev will meet Tsikhanouskaya, Lukashenko can escalate the conflict against Ukraine or even introduce troops. So for Ukrainians right now, the most important to minimize the risks.
When will Ukraine recognize her as national leader of Belarus officially?
I think if Lukashenko introduces troops, Belarus troops to Ukraine, these processes will be speeded up, and then Ukraine can recognize Tsikhanouskaya and meet her. But right now they are very cautious. They don't want to play with fire.
It's been a